Hello, everybody. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. Thanks for joining. We got some folks stacked in the room already with some amazing questions. And this is so great. I just love this. This is episode 4 of What's Up Wednesday. And I just want to thank all of you for joining. And I am wearing my Jimmy Buffett Tommy Bahama outfit today in honor of all those folks, which is a lot of people in the Canada and U.S., in a deep freeze. I am so sorry that you have to endure that. We lived in Chicago for 15 years, so we had our fair share of that. And that's one reason we now live in Florida. I'm currently in Florida, near the West Palm Beach area, where it was 80 today. It'll be 70 tonight. I'm wearing flip-flop shorts. And I just want to let you know, folks, that are suffering from some serious cold that we're thinking about. Yeah, we got a big show tonight. Our viewer question of the week is around decision fatigue, and should an RVer stay put or move as part of reducing decision fatigue? So that's our big question for the night. We'll get there in about 30 minutes. We're going to go for about an hour altogether. And what we like to do here is just let you know that this whole show is really about you. This is a YouTube live Q&A. I like to stir it up a little bit differently than some of the other folks, rather than just kind of looking at my talking head, and that's okay. Bringing a little additional content to you may not be aware of. So we're getting some great questions already. The question format is, well, here's what we'd like to cover. We've got channel events. We got to show you some pictures from the one we had last weekend. So much fun. RV news headlines, viewer recommendation of the week. This is an interesting one. Song of the week. If you like 60s music, I think you might like this one. And man, ladies and gentlemen, ran me over with pet picks of the week. So I'm going to have to up my game next week and choose one or two. I got quite a few to share with you. And then, of course, we have the pet viewer question of the week. So what I'd like to do is have you look at the chat here. And MP was first out of the gate today. And this is the format we like to use, which is star, asterisk, followed by 3 question marks and maybe a space or 2. And then ask your question, please. This is the format that Kevin of 30 and a Wake Up uses, and I like it because it helps distinguish a bunch of questions right out of the gate in the chat stream here. And you're welcome to chat amongst yourselves. I would ask everybody to be polite and nice, please. And you're welcome to direct those questions at me in that format, please. So what I want to do is just call your attention, if you haven't seen this video yet. Many of you, I think there was over 6 viewers that asked about how do I keep things input in my van, and I made a video about it. It's doing pretty good, and there's actually a viewer recommendation based upon this video. So if you'd like to personalize your van, put things on walls, surfaces, horizontal or vertical, you'll want to see that video. It was lots of tips and tricks and some what not to do's. So you'll want to check that out. So thank you for watching that. How many of you know this cat? Yes, the Traveling Robert. He was one of my inspirational, aspirational RVers early in my journey. He interviewed Volta, which the CTO and co-founder of Volta, at the RV Super Show. And if you haven't seen that video, scroll through his videos and you'll want to see that. I should put the episode number here. I apologize, but you have to search for it. It's pretty obvious. Jack, the co-founder of Volta, is there in the rig. And Jack does a really good job of explaining lithium-ion, Volta's approach to it. And that what Traveling Robert wanted to do is ask me some questions about how I'd live in a Volta-equipped RV. So he has got a really huge channel, a couple 100,000 folks, really well known in the space. And it was just an honor to have me on his program. I'm on about the whole program, I think, is about 30 minutes. I'm on the last 10 minutes or so. But be sure and see that video. It's really good. Again, Volta gives some really good information on some of the stuff out there on why Volta's a different grade of a EV lithium-ion system. All right, what's next? I have a video coming up. It's posting on Saturday. You'll want to see this. This one has kind of fallen into my lap by mistake. Not mistake, by accident. Because the weather is so horrendous, I'm actually staying in Florida for another 2 weeks. Normally I'm long gone by first few days in February, but the weather just is so bad. And it's so cold, so far south, it makes no sense. So what we've done is actually install some RV hookups in the driveway. I kind of show you what we did. And if you're curious about that, it sure makes a long-term visit more nice. Luke's going to have a few things to say. Because I've been here for about 6 weeks now. So this really will, if you're at somebody's place for a long time, consider some of the tips in here. All right, let's answer a couple of questions here. You guys got some good ones going on. Let me shift this out. It's werewolf hour for Luke, so he may be prancing around, making himself shown. MP's got a great question right out of the gate. Hi, Scott. I remember your vid about careful van orientation and awning use for heat control, but I'm wondering if you still have the awning, find the awning useful and use it regularly. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a head cold. Try and keep those coughs to a minimum. Yes, great question. And the key with van orientation is to keep the cab out of the sunlight at least, and ideally the entire rig. Now, if you have to harvest solar to charge traditional RV batteries, then you're going to have a problem because you have to be in the sun, and that requires, hey, it's okay, it will heat up the interior of the vans significantly. I'm guessing 10 to 20 degrees. And if you have, and the air conditioner just can't overcome it in most cases. So my best practice is to get the van out of the sun if you can, and keep the awning, or keep the cab out of the sun. So orient the back of the rig toward the sun. And I use the awning to regulate the heat, depending on where I am and what I can do in terms of length of the RV awning going out. It makes a dramatic difference, again, by just keeping the sun off at least one side of the van. So as the sun kind of goes across the day, you might be able to pivot your van throughout the day to keep it cool. That would be really, really ideal. Great question. And which is kind of followed up by this question, kind of the same topic. Thank you, MP. This is a great question, too. Is do you think exterior paint color, light or dark, and whether that paint is metallic or not, has any meaningful effect on interior temperature stability? Yes. And I know that for sure because I had a silver van that had a big black stripe down about a third of it. And Luke is not pleased. And I could actually run my hand up and down the walls, the interior walls, and feel where that black band of paint was compared to the silver. Hey, that's enough. And it was dramatic. Now, my van, I've wrapped it since, so it's kind of overall warmish. So whether you have a white van or that'll be the least affected by a heat. And but if you have a dark colored van, you again want to follow the practice of keeping the van out of the sun. Certainly, if you have a Volta system, there's no reason to be in the sun if you have a Volta system. Great questions. Beyond attention. Good evening. There's Chris and Cassandra. Hello. And this is a fun one. Traveling Skinny. She's been waiting for this. I assume it's she. Sorry. If that's not. Picked up her solos from Iowa last week. I'm guessing that's Lixon. Middle of the blizzard, minus 15 wind chill, 40-mile wind. Slept in the van. Truma kept me toasty, pretty well insulated. That's amazing. Congratulations. Everybody give a clap for Traveling Skinny getting her solos. Those are really nice vans. And does yours have a pop top? I think some do, some don't, right? I may be wrong on that. But yeah, Truma is a home run. Truma propane heat is really hot and is just lovely. All right, let's talk about the roundup. So get your questions spun up here, and yeah, let me know where you're watching from. This is really interesting. Since I've been asking specifically, where are you watching from? Folks are watching from all over planet Earth. Israel, Australia, Singapore. I need to make a map list because it's just crazy. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. 58 awesome people in here so far. Thumb up if you're getting anything out of this. Sure appreciate a thumb up. That would be awesome. So let me go up here. We'll turn this off. And let me tell you about the roundup we had at the beach last weekend. So this is currently February 10, 2021. And we had 3 vans, including mine, Lily. My partner, Kyle, showed up. We had the Go Small Live Large groupie. That would be Terry. And look at this. There was just a group of really great people, and I just love these things. There's Henry and Lauren, and their van's to the right, where I'm looking off camera. They have the canoe on top, kayak, and then Terry managed to get his wife down, Karen, and we just had the most excellent time. And I just love doing these because I get to meet you, get to hear your story, give you a reason to kind of get in your van and go do something. If you're not doing it already. And it's just the most fun. This was a smaller group, probably because it was early in the morning, but the sunset was the sunrise was just spectacular. And look at this. This was really, really interesting. So I got there pretty early, about 6 a.m., and we had a guest who joined us for a better part of an hour or more. And that would be the gentleman here in the green pants and the white T-shirt with his rambunctious dog Snowflake. That's Dan in the green pants, and that's me. And he was so curious about these vans. I'm telling you, he was climbing in them. He was measuring them. He wants to build his own van. He didn't even know what these Travatos were. Didn't know Brown ProMaster. All I had was a dream. And we were there putting an exclamation point on his dream that day. And I got to tell you, he was the coolest cat. And I put a star on here because as you roam around and you are seeing and talking to people, be courteous would be my recommendation. Show people your van if you would like. If you don't, you don't have to. But what caused this whole thing to have a happy ending is he actually invited the 3 vans, although we can't all do it at once, to stay at his house, which is across the street from the beach. He lives across the street from Fort Lauderdale Beach. Enough parking for one van. And that whole thing came about because he stopped. We started chatting him up, and he went through the vans, and he spent a lot of time. And the punchline is here, if you're nice to people, they're nice back. And in this case, any 3 of these couples, we can go down there in a van, give Dan a call, and stay the night at Fort Lauderdale Beach. Is that amazing? That's one of the serendipities of van life. I was so pleased. So pleased. It was so great. And Chris and Cassandra kind of, and Terry will get a chuckle out of that because we've had some great times together doing those things. Okay, so let's look at a few more, questions here. Let me move this to the next thingy diggy. Before I go there, so more events coming. I don't have anything posted yet. My schedule is a little flaky right now, but when I know where I'm going to be someplace, we'll post those. How can you find out about them? You go to my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, or sign up for email. We're going to try and work on email still further again, and that would just be an honor to have you join us. We'll announce these in advance using this platform right here. What's Up Wednesday? 63 folks in the house. Okay, let's get some questions. So ask me anything here, being appropriate, of course. So Angry Bubba wants to know, how does the double pane windows and hardware hinges locks on the Beyond compare to the Travatos? I would say it was much better. Dometic makes the ones in the Travato, at least in my rig. It was a different manufacturer, Euro something, in the Nova and the Beyond, and they were significantly clearer. I would say significantly more sturdy, and they had a locking button, which I really liked, although these snap shut, but there's no positive lock button. The ones I have here, pointing my window next to my dining room table, but they were beautiful windows, and they were much bigger. I would say probably 20% bigger, without guessing. So great question. Yeah, I just love those windows. They were so spectacular. A couple more questions. Let's see what we got going here. I get James. James is coming in from Southern California. Probably not having a deep freeze there, right? Yeah, so James asked a good question here. We'll talk about this later, but so I set up a specific Gmail account because trying to do this over YouTube comments is tough. So the viewer recommendation, song, pet, other things like that, please don't send me stuff about questions on RVing because there's other methods for those, other places for that, but it's GSLL viewer recommendation at gmail.com. So GSLL stands for Go Small Live Large. GSLL viewer recommendation at gmail.com. Whoa, look at this. Jerry Minchie in the house. I haven't seen a Jerry excuse me. Jerry in a chat for a while. Good to see you, sir. Good to know you're well. Yes, you travel very differently than me. You have a big Class A. I assume you still do, or a small apartment in Costa Rica, I think it is. Jerry Minchie was one of my first audience angels. I'll never forget him. He was camped out for a few months in Cedar Key, Florida, which if you haven't been to Cedar Key, Florida, you have no idea what you're missing. You got to go. And he is an author, a prolific author on RVing. Go to Amazon. I actually should put your books on my Amazon store now that I think about that, Jerry. And look at his books. He was an early inspiration to me. We did an interview together. Jerry Minchie in the house. That is so awesome. Dean Crow. Look at this. Let's see. Dean Crow, welcome. That's a newish name for me here. If you're getting anything out of this, hey, give it a thumb up. Sure appreciate that. Dean wants to know, did you add the bumper guard to Lily or did it come from the factory already on the van? Awesome question. Travatos come out of the van pretty plain Jane. The most fancy ones were the National Park Foundation edition. So I've added mine. Now, some of the other off-road van builders, they put them on as kind of factory, like off-highway vans out of Salt Lake and Storyteller out of Alabama. Where are those guys out of? But mine I added. And if you search my videos, there's a whole video on how that was done, where it was done, what it costs. I give you the links to Walmart. It's actually sold through Walmart for a California company. And I would guess any good off-road upfitter would be able to put that on. It cost me $300 for the guard. I think they've gone up since then. And it cost me $300 in labor. And it was kind of a while you wait. I let them know I was coming. Southern Highway off-road, I think it was. Ooh, that's been a while. And I let them know I was coming, shipped the thing in advance. I showed up, said, hey, me and my cat, we're going to hang out. And they were really great people. So I would highly recommend, and here's why, 2 reasons. One, vanity, it certainly looks better. And number 2, it's really for safety. I can't tell you how many times I've brushed up against heavy brush or even some fencing where I've actually bumped it slightly with the guard. And it's kind of like, oh, it just reminds me that thing's out there a little bit, and it's protected my wrap and it's protected my plasti dip on my grill. So that's really been a godsend. And it'll protect against, at least some degree, a deer strike, or in this other case, road debris. I was following a person. They did not avoid the tire tread in the road ahead of me, and they kicked it up, and it actually landed and hit the brush guard. And I'm pretty sure it made a pretty big bang. Didn't really leave just a tiniest scuff, but I'm pretty sure if that thing had hit the plastic grill on my van, it would have had to be replaced, which would have been a nightmare. Good question. But check out that video. It tells you all about it. Great question. All right, we'll do a few more questions here, then we'll roll into some RV news. Wait till you see this. The RV lifestyle is just going crazy, as you know. Jerry mentioned in Galveston, Texas. Oh, I love Galveston. That is so amazing. Hopefully you get to go to the state park there on the beach. It was one of my most exciting, most memorable stays. It also taught me why I don't like to stay on the beach, because the sand and the wind. I was still getting sand out of me and Luke in the van weeks later. Where are you watching from? Let me know that. Let's see. So Minneapolis, you guys are in for some serious. Oh my God. I hope Minnesota Dave has gotten out of Minnesota and in his van someplace south. Minnesota Dave came to our channel camp out in Nashville. He picked up his rig and literally drove it 48 hours straight to get to Nashville. He didn't know how to do anything. The first night he slept in the van, didn't know how to turn the heat on. And the Ginger Walkabout helped him, and I did too, to get him up to speed. It was so awesome. Minnesota Dave, love that guy. Nashville, oof, love Nashville. Miami, oh, you're having the same kind of weather we are. Lovely. Look at this. Yes, the Ginger Walkabout. Speaking of, saying congrats to Skinny for her new delivery of her new Solos. I've been thinking about this for a while. How do we celebrate van deliveries? Whether it's Travato or something else, it's just van. Because van means you've made a decision and you're going to be changing your life and you're going to do things differently. And I think we need to celebrate that. So I'm trying to figure out how we have a collective delivery day, birthday. I don't know what that is yet. If you have any thoughts on that, let me know. I think it'd be so much fun to have a delivery day party, wouldn't it? Over Zoom or YouTube Live. Oh my gosh, somehow. And this new software, I can actually bring things in, which is pretty cool. So we can have up to 10 guests. So Mike Morris, good question here. Then we'll move on to some RV news headlines. So Mike Morris, thanks for chiming in here, sir. What was the cost of your lift kit, and how many inches did you gain? It was pretty expensive. It was $3,000 for 3 inches, but those are magic 3 inches, let me tell you. And I have not regretted a single second of it. We got an update video on the wrap and the lift coming up. A number of you have asked for that, so we'll be talking about that, doing a video. I just love the confidence that it gives me, those extra 3 inches to clear a curb, clear a deep driveway. Backing up, I backed into some place just last week, and I'm like, I would not have backed up if I hadn't had the lift, because the Volta box would have not cleared, and I would have banged the Volta lithium battery pack, which is under the floor behind the back axle. Not an ideal place. So it's expensive. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Has it changed the driving a little bit? It's more firm for sure. And the hardest thing about it is getting in and out of the van. It's definitely 3 inches taller. But I love it, and it just looks so much better. Look at the Storyteller vans, and they've had suspension things done to them. They just look cool. Mine's still a front wheel drive. All right, so let's shift to RV news. I think this is kind of interesting. Again, there's 2 news feeds that I get from RV News and RV Pro News, and I just like to kind of share stuff that's kind of caught my eye. We all talk about the rigs. I think a couple episodes ago we talked about Class B RVs year over year up 168%. All the other classes were up about 50%. But this is around KOA. I like KOAs a lot. And they're nationwide. They're really uniform, which I like from like a franchise, right? But the other one is Jellystone. That's really big. In terms of a commercial park. And these points I put here really kind of caught my eye. And that is that RV park construction levels are what they were seeing in the 1970s. And they've built 8 parks since 2017. 12 parks are in planning or construction stages right now, according to this article. And what they were saying in the article is that the reason people want to go to like KOAs is because of different experiences. That they don't want to go to national parks or go boondocking out in the middle of nowhere, but they want to have something really different that would be really hard to do anywhere else. So teepees, covered wagons, yurts, tents plus an RV. We actually did that, our family, and it was so much fun. And then patio sites. I've stayed in the patio sites in the Arlington KOA. Just spectacular. You have a patio. You have almost like driving into a park. So cool. Expensive, but so cool if you're there for a while. And then they were saying, no surprise here, the RV demand and demand for camping sites continue to grow. So if you look at the 2 characters in the bottom right-hand corner here, anybody know who they are? Hopefully you do. If you've been following the RV community for any length of time, this is Heath, the dude, and Elisa, the gal on his back. And they are from the RV Entrepreneur Network. They have a podcast, the RV Entrepreneur, maybe it's called. It's fantastic. And I put them on here with the KOA because they have started their own software business around campground bookings. I think it's called around software, because I think KOA's got the best software. You can actually choose your site now before you arrive, which is really cool. They charge you for it, but it's cool. What I'm really impressed by these 2 is they've actually bought a home, and they are now actively building, working, planning, visualizing, buying land to create the next generation RV park campsites. And that's something that's been on my bucket list now for about a year. So if you have any aspirations around that, if you have any skills around that, maybe we can help out Heath and Alyssa, or help me out. I would limit mine to vans. Van camp kind of comes to mind. But it was just really encouraging. I don't see that RVs are being sold like crazy, but the RV parks are doing well themselves. So as always, what I'll do is I'll link this in the on my website so you can read that article directly. All right, let's take a few more questions here. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate that. Go small, live large. What do you think of this? What's Up Wednesday? Is it a good format for you? Or just kind of like the talking heads? But you're fine. How about that YouTube live with Kevin or Paul and Chad doing cooking live? They are brave souls. Holy cow. Okay, I'm scanning for questions in the format. Here's Keith. So Keith asked a question here. Keith, thanks for bringing the question. This is again regarding the wrap. What kind of lifespan do you get from these vehicle wraps? It's color guarantee for 3 years. It's a 3M product. My guess is it's going to stick on forever unless I remove it or scratch it badly. There has been only one little tiny bubble that I had him look at, and he says it's best just to leave it. The guy that wrapped it, this is CRD Wraps in Wellington, Florida, just that way. It's about 10 miles. Check out crdwraps.com. Really quality work. Mine was expensive, but I am so glad I did it. It just changes everything. Great question. Ginger Walkabout, yes, she was just camping. And getting a little worried about Lucille. Lucille is Ginger's name for her van. So she had been camping. Yeah, freezing weather, unless your rig is really built for it, is not fun. I'm pretty sure. You can hunker down at an RV park, and that's about the only place you could do it because you have your tank warmers on, which just draw energy like crazy. All right, scanning for some questions here. Otherwise, we got a couple more topics, including viewer recommendations. So, looking for a question. This is look at this one, Hawaii. I was even reading that Hawaii is going to have snow on the mountains, 14,000 feet mountain. Those are tall mountains, but Hawaii's getting snow too. So it's holy cow! Look at this, everybody. Well, centigrade. So what's that mean in real temperatures? I have no idea. 0 is freezing in centigrade. I know that. So that's 30 degrees below. That's pretty serious cold. If you think about it, water freezes at 32 degrees. So if it's 0 or minus 10, you're 40 degrees below what the temperature is necessary to freeze water. That's just insane. I'm so glad I'm in my Jimmy Buffett outfit. Okay, let's do what's next up here. We're going to talk about viewer recommendations. And this comes from a viewer, Jack. He's relatively new, I think. So many new folks. By the way, 13,000 people. 13,005 people as of this afternoon. Last I watched. So thank you so much. Oops, let me get this off screen. And it's just so exciting. The channel is just exploding right now, which really warms my heart. And who doesn't need a warm heart these days? But this is his recommendation. And this was based upon the stop things from sliding in your RV video. I'm going to try this out. And I'm going to let you know if I like it or not. And then if I do, I'm going to put it on my Amazon store. But what he likes about it is, if you remember getting credit cards in the mail, the credit card is stuck to the paper with that little dollop of kind of rubber cement stuff. Apparently he likes this better than putty, the mounting putty we talked about in that video proficiently. And the reason I like this, I want to give it a try, is because the mounting putty sags in heat. I've had some pretty extreme heat when I've left this rig at an airport parking lot, and I climb in, and the thermometer here by the door says 110 degrees, and stuff is sagging because the mounting putty gave way. So I'm going to try this, and I really want to try this up front on my Moon, because the mounting putty I can see and I don't want to see it. So hopefully it's clear or almost clear. But does anybody have any experience with this? I'm really curious. I'm going to put this on the web page, viewer recommendation page today, and if I really like it, I'll put it on my store. It looks cool, and this is how we roll, folks. We learn together, we share together. You decide what's best for you. I am not the end all be all. I'm just a dude that lives in a van. 2 years now, so I know a little bit more than some, less than others. But you guys and gals know a heck of a lot more than I do on some things, probably a lot of things. And that's what we want to do, is we want to share these things out so you can be a better RVer, whether you're still researching, doing it a long time like Jerry Minchie, or maybe 2 years, or just part-time. You don't have to be a full-timer to be a hero in this book, in my book. So watch for that. I'll put that on my website so you can take a look at that. And we're going to roll to Song of the Week. Wait till you guys see this. And gals, this is so great. This is, I had never heard of these people, and I actually had heard a couple of their songs. So they were part of the British invasion in the 60s with the Beatles and the Who and some of those famous folks. Chad and Jeremy was the name of the band. And they had a really luscious sound to them that was very distinctive. This song was perfect for those of you that are freezing to death. I would pull this up on your favorite music subscription system and play this song. It'll give you a warm feeling inside, I'm pretty sure. And thank you from Rhonda for sharing this. And please, if you want to make a recommendation, song of the week, just go to, again, GSLL, viewer recommendation at gmail.com. And we just love to get those there. Now that email address is reserved for viewer recommendations, song of the week, pet photo of the week. If you're asking me questions about how big is my, how tall is my van lift, then I'm going to maybe answer you, but point you back to this forum here. But that's meant for that. But song of the week, a summer song, and they made some really great songs. So check them out, and I think you're going to love them as much as Rhonda does. All right, next item up is, let's do a few more Q&A here. Bottom of the hour, we're right on time. So I'm searching for questions. So this is going here from James. So James, when will your bathroom sink video be out? I'm hoping in the next week or two. I've got to assemble it, and I really want to show you how different it is to shower in. So I've been using it a lot. So I'm in the driveway of my mother-in-law. I've been here for 6 weeks almost now. I'm showering in my rig when I need to shower if I'm not going to Planet Fitness, and it is the best shower experience. Winnebago really needs to step up and put these in. I can't remember what the K shower system seemed like, but in the new G, the 2022, they did have a different shower system on the wall, but it was the same oxygenetic shower head. And what is awesome about this one is you turn the water on and you get instant hot water, and then you turn the water off. There's no dripping, no bloop, 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 bloop of cold water, and then you turn it back on, and you got to get out of the shower until it gets back up to temperature, and then you start, all of that is gone. It's the most magic. So thank you, Terry, Audience Angel. So coming out soon is to answer your question, and I just want to get all my facts straight, and but I think you're going to love it. Great question. Look at this, Ginger Walkabout. Yes. Barely had 1,000. I know, right? It's been a great journey. The channel is really growing right now, which is amazing. Hard work pays off, folks, which is awesome. I love that. Thank you, Ginger, for that shout out. Upstate New York, is that Buffalo? Oh my gosh. Thomas, great question. Look at this one. So here's what's great about Florida. They still have RV shows going on. They had the big one last month in Tampa, and they have one here apparently in Jacksonville. I did read about this. I'm not going. We've got a family coming in, so I'm not. This is Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year. So those communities celebrate Lunar New Year, and so we got a bunch of folks coming in. So I'm going to scoot away to Gainesville. I've got a Volta training, but yeah, I will not be headed to Jacksonville. But let us know what you see. I would love to know. I'd love to go to a smaller show. The Tampa one's so huge, and yeah. Okay, a couple more here. Then we're going to start on pet photos. And wait till you see some of these pet photos, and you'll see why I could not choose which one was the pet photo of the week. Oh my God, so cute. Yeah, thank you, Ginger. This is very true. Full time is just the way I like to roll. You don't have to be a hero or a heroine to say, I just like to take week-long trips, whatever, right? Just do what you want to do to get the most out of your RV. Yeah, so this is a good question. So back to sticking things in your van. So MP wants to know, is Blue Tech essentially the same as some of the other putty products you demonstrated? Anyone familiar with it? Loctite, I think, was the one. It was not a 3M brand. It was blue, and it performed about the same. The problem I had with it is it's blue. So when you stick it someplace, it squeezes out maybe a little bit, and it just says, hello, I'm blue. And what's really sad is that I used some of it on the head liner in my cab, and I can't get the blue off. So I, for that reason, am not recommending the blue stuff. I'm eager to try this new product that the other viewer recommended. What other questions do you guys have? Okay, so let's bring those questions in, and let's look at pet photos of the week. You guys ready to see these? So what we'd like to do is have you send your pet photo in. This apparently is Andy and Marley Marie. I'm assuming those are the dogs. And then Karen and Ben, they have a 2020 Plateau TS, which is a pleasure wave vehicle. And you can just send in, you can see the email address down below. And those dogs look pretty comfy, wouldn't you say? And yeah, tell us the name of your pet. What kind of rig do you have or wanting to have? Your names, then where you're coming in from. I won't put your last name on there, and I won't put a picture of you on there unless you say, hey, it's okay to put my picture of me and my wife or partners, whatever, on there. Aren't those the cutest things? Small dogs, right? How about this one? Yes. Look at that handsome kitty. Sophie. This is from Mindy in the U.S., and I love how she very carefully wraps the tail around her feet. And she's kind of got that look like, you're supposed to be doing something for me. I need staff. Is that the cutest thing? Look at this one. Oh, yes. This is Baby Girl. They'll be traveling in an Embassy RV soon. Monica, thank you for sending that in. And we got a dog one, I think, coming up next. Yes. Ginger Walkabout, this reminded me of Whiskey Dog. But this is Leo in a 2021 GL submitted by Chris and Lisa out of Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville having an RV show, apparently. And I love the look on his face, even though you can't see it. But his ears say, I should be out there, not in here. What's up? Right? Are these just the cutest things? Look at these two, Ken and Lisa. Didn't send the dog names in, but oh my gosh, they have a KL Travato. And the little one in black on the left, literally, apparently, sleeps between the two seats. I don't know how you guys avoid stepping on the pooch there, but the other one, look at that cute face. Oh my God, is that the cutest thing? And we got a couple more, and then we'll switch gears. It's just so cute. Look at these. I knew there was a reason why there's TVs in RVs. Cat Entertainment. And apparently they take turns. This is Shatsy, and I didn't catch the name of the other cat. Shatsy's the kind of the tan with the black paws. Tom and Rhonda Armac is their handle they go by. They're in the Panhandle of Florida. Thank you for sharing these. Oh my God, so cute. And of course, and thank you, Ginger, for showing up, because we have to have a Ginger in the house. That is so awesome. So awesome. So what do you guys think of those? It's just so funny. People love their pets, and it's fun to RV with your pets. I can't tell you what a life-changing experience has been for me. Watching the pets, Luke in particular. If you haven't been to Instagram yet, you'll want to check out my Instagram. I put 2 videos on there yesterday from Luke. One of them, he was giving me a big scolding, and he actually threw things off a shelf because I put stuff on his shelf. It's pretty funny. So pet photos of the week. All right, let's get to the viewer question of the week. This is a great question. Let me expand this so you can read it here. So my gypsy adventure, who frequents frequently, so thank you for that, says, hey, Scott, you've mentioned decision fatigue before, and I was wondering if you sometimes need a break and stay in one spot for a month or so. I love to travel and love to do what you do, but my biggest concern is constantly being on the move, especially when you work and can't enjoy the place you are staying until late in the day when you are done with your job work. Yeah, that is a great question. And if you have any experience in this, maybe Ginger and some others here that already have their van, if you can chime in and help us with this. So here's my take on this. Decision fatigue is real because I'm in constant motion, but that's the way I choose to RV. So the way I mitigate that is I do a little bit of planning, and I'm harvest hosting or street camping for 2 or 3 days, and then I find someplace to stay put. Maybe it's a KOA, maybe it's a campsite, someplace where I can just stay put for a few days to kind of recharge the batteries, because having to decide where I'm going to go day and night, grocery shopping, it does get a little laborious, but there's so many things to do and see. So I found a balance. I was going way too fast before. I was driving way too many miles, and now I'm just learning how to slow down. And Boondockers Welcome is another thing I've been using a lot lately, and we'll do more so going forward because there's more of them in urban environments, and it's a nice place to again land for the night. I'm not having to spend money at a harvest host to buy burgers and beers at the golf place or wine. But I've been now in Florida since early December. It's early February. I'm kind of Floridaed out, staying here for some family stuff next week, Lunar New Year, and for the weather. But I am itching to get the hell on the road because I've been in one place for far too long. And it's really changing my mood to being negative. Ask Kyle. So I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance. I think you need to decide a trajectory, be open to change, know where safe places to stay are along the route. Cracker Barrels are a pretty good place, I'd say more so than Walmart's these days. And Chad and Paul, if you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, check them out. They stay there a lot. And we stay there a few times, me and Kyle, and they are very nice. And they have a good breakfast in the morning or at night. So you can spend $6 there and stay there. But I don't think I'd want to stay in a van in one place for a month. I love living in my van, but even if I'm going to be someplace for a month, like I am here, what I do is we go for a day trip, like at the beach. I think we're going to do that in the morning around here, and just to change the scenery, which then come back here. So it's a great question. Curious what other people have to think about that. Yeah, question, Ginger Walkabout here says, question of the week's on point. It can be, decision fatigue is real. And there's a reason Class A people buy the big, $200,000 buses and they drag a car behind it. So they go someplace and they park it and they roam around day trips and whatever for the next, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks or months. If they're wintering from the cold weather up north. So really, I did a video about this, and it really comes down to why do you want to live in a van? Why do you want to RV? Which then kind of determines how you RV, which then determines what kind of an RV you want. If you want to stay put for a month, I'm not sure a van's going to be your best shot. They're cool, but if you're not moving the van for a month, that would make me stir crazy, which it is now. So great question. Viewer question of the week. So if you have one of those, again, I either pick these out of the YouTube comments, or that's where I'd love to do that, actually, mostly. So if you can help me out there, do that for me. But great question, and thank you, My Gypsy Adventure. Hopefully that helped a little bit. Curious if anybody else has any experience on that. 83 people. This is great. I really appreciate you hanging in there. Thumbs up if you're getting anything out of this at all. That would be great. Even if you like my hat, hate my shirt, you can give me a thumb up. That's cool. Appreciate it. All right, so let's shift gears here to more live Q&A. So Carol wants to know, is Luke as well-mannered and good-looking as he appears? Yes. Unless it's werewolf hour, which is he got fed, and then he wants to go outside. But we're letting him off leash here at Kyle's parents' house because we've been here for so long, so he's familiar with the area. But we don't want him out at night. There's a lot of cats in this area. He stayed pretty close, so we feel pretty safe during the day letting him out, but not at night. So he does get a little ornery. Luke, we're talking about you, Luke. He's giving me the look. And he's a great cat. He's just the best companion. He doesn't scratch and tear up the furniture. He doesn't. Only when he was having some medical issues has he ever not used his litter box. He goes in his litter box religiously. He snuggles. He's cuddly. He follows me around like a dog. He's just the greatest one. So yes, he is well mannered and as good looking as he appears. He'd appreciate you asking that. Thank you. Okay, Boondockers Welcome. This is a good question. So MP asked a good one. So if you're not familiar with Boondockers is an option to harvest hosts. This is where you're parking your RV on private property for the night. They're usually, in my experience, fellow RVers. And MP wants to know here, Boondockers Welcome. Do the hosts typically expect a lot of social interaction? That can be very uncomfortable for us introverts. It depends. I have some that wanted to chit chat, and I'm into that. Certainly, if you got a glass of wine, we can share a glass of bottle of wine or coffee in the morning. I'm cool with that too. The one gentleman in Boise, he was an introvert as well. We said our niceties when I first arrived. He said he was going to go bowling, I think it was, and then I didn't see him even the next morning. I kind of waved as he was heading out pretty early. But you can read the profile that the host posts on Boondockers Welcome, and there's a place in there to put notes in. So request a night on a date, and you can type in there that I prefer not to chit chat. I might say hi, of course. Hopefully, you just say that, and thank them for their graciousness, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. So it really depends on you and them and how you want to interact. I'm like I said, I've been doing this more frequently because in some places harvest hosts aren't around. I do have to be clear, and it's more me than them, that I feel like I'm intruding a little bit, way more than I would at a harvest house. I'm in a parking lot away from the buildings. I feel like I have privacy. So there is a privacy issue, and it feels like I'm not intruding. I'm getting over that. It's probably Catholic guilt. I don't know. But everybody I've met is just the most pleasant people. And a lot of them now, and they list this in their host profile, whether you can have generators, most of them say no, slide outs, a lot of them say no, pets, but some of them have Wi-Fi, plug-ins if you're going to stay for a day or two. Some of them let you stay up to 5 days, I've read, and they can let you plug in for like $15 a day. Well, that's kind of cool, right? So it's really a resource to be used. It costs, I think it's $40 a year. You can go to my website, GoSmallLiveLarge.com. It's under the RV Essentials, I think it is, and there's a membership there. But I'm using them a lot more because in Southern Florida, there's really very few harvest hosts. But they're Boondockers Welcome. There's like 4 of them around Florida or Fort Lauderdale. And I'm going to be staying in one up in Gainesville next week. And there was no harvest host to be seen in near Gainesville. So it's a resource like every other resource an RVer would want to use. And if you get to share a few stories, that's awesome. But it's probably up to you and to them. You guys come to an agreement, set expectations. That would be my advice. What do you think of that? All right. Other questions here. So here's Ginger Walkabout chiming in on Boondockers Welcome. Saved your bacon when first started out. Need some interaction with fellow RVers. Had some great stays on the East Coast. Never felt like they were up in her business. So yeah, most of them are RVers, and they have extra space, and it's just a great way to get some tips, like in Ginger's case here, get some tips for newbies. And again, between harvest hosting, which is you're on commercial property at their invitation upon request, there's an expectation you participate in the business economics. So buy a bottle of wine, buy some burger and a beer, golf course, burger and a beer, something like that. So there's an expectation there, but you're largely left alone. And you can access, I think it's about $100 a year for the golf and harvest host, which is breweries, wineries, museums. Oh gosh, there's really some interesting ones creeping up. And then you, again, just make a reservation and you stay. And everybody, I love Boondockers Welcome, and I love Harvest Host because it takes you to places you wouldn't go. And to me, that's really cool. Now, you need to be somewhat organized. Most of everybody's been really good about next day or same day even making a reservation. So thanks for sharing that. Okay. Looking for questions. What questions do you guys have? And gals, 103 people. All right, this is great. We got about 15 minutes to go. Now I can just start talking. Kevin, 30 to Wake Up. If you haven't seen his channel, he's in a KL, ex-military. His YouTube lives go for hours and hours. So you guys got a lot of questions for him. Maybe it's all military stuff. I don't know. I haven't chimed in lately. So what question do you have? RVs, lifestyle, RV systems, Volta. What kind of questions or what kind of videos you want me to be making? RVs is just so on fire right now. Yeah, it's really so this is a great question. So thank you. Whoops. Let me go this one first. So Going Green Mom wants to know, how do you stay organized in your van? And that is a juicy question. OMG. And this is a learning thing. Not everybody rolls like Kevin, which is uber minimalist. I'm kind of in between minimalist and store enough stuff to be comfortable. You have to stay organized in your van, because if you leave stuff sitting out, you're going to look like a hoarder in about 2 minutes, and you're going to find it really uncomfortable to move around in your van. You're going to find it probably claustrophobic and really messy. So I'm training Kyle, my partner, to be pick up after himself in these vans. You can't just come in and park your shoes in the middle of the hallway. Number one, you probably come in and trip over it, so and then hurt yourself. But you stay organized by minimizing how much stuff you had. Ginger Walkabout, please comment, how many scales did you have in your van? And so take as little as you need to be comfortable, whether it's clothing, whether it's cookware, it's utensils. We should go through my galley. I have not used half the stuff in my galley in months, which means I have a 60-day rule. If I haven't used it or touched it in 60 days, it needs to go. So that's how you stay organized your van. It's a thought mindset. I think first is you're living in a few dozen square feet and you need to stay organized, reduce the packaging sizes of things, really think through, is this thing bringing me value? Hopefully more than once. Maybe the item has three or four functions, right? I use my scissors for everything. I use a paring knife. I have two big chef's knives I've never used. Need to get rid of them. It's taking up space. So how do you stay organized your van? I think it's mindset first. Buy as you go. So if you're getting a new rig, and buying mean move things in from the house as you go, I think that would be a good tip. Because don't do what I did, which is run out and buy a bunch of stuff at my first overnighter at a Walmart. I bought several $100s worth of stuff that I ended up throwing away because none of it was practical. Glass dishes, metal flatware, pots and pans. Oh my God, I think back to those first few weeks. So I either so that's how you do it. Hopefully that helped a little bit. That would be a good. We've done a number of galley tours and things like that, but not specifically organization. That might make an interesting video. Yeah, Kevin. Uh-oh. I got a head cold. Excuse me. Kevin does have long lives, says Carol, and he does. Some of those are marathons. Let's see. Good questions coming in. Thank you. So this is an interesting question. So JK House says, can small family-owned RV dealers support the installed base with service? Yeah. Ginger and I have both talked about this in videos. When I had a roof leak, I couldn't get to a Winnebago RV dealer, so I went to a non-Winnebago RV dealer. Certainly a roof leak is a fan right there. In fact, a nasty fan. Love my fan, but the roof leak was nasty. And I called my dealer up in Illinois and said, hey, got a roof leak. He says, get estimates for it. And I submitted that. And the same thing with when my chassis belt cut the radiator hose. Same deal here. So can small family-owned RVs support the installed base with service? I think so. And they would probably love to have your business. We're having we got a whole lot of stuff coming up. We've kind of let the cat out of the bag. The Kyle bought an RV, but the RV has been at the dealer now for literally it's 4 weeks. It'll be 5 weeks because we can't get there next week, and they are just not returning calls. It's the most annoying situation. So I wish they would reach out, small family RV dealers, to actively solicit service, because getting a service on RV is not timely. Ginger's got some really big horror stories on that, and unfortunately, mine have been I've had great experiences all the way around. So, so Scott Wilson has here. Oh, Carol here. Yeah, I like the software too. It's really a lot of fun. It just kind of breaks it up a little bit, right? Maybe too newsy. I don't know. What do you think? I'm still experimenting. Maybe let's turn the camera on and let it roll, and we can cook dinner together. I don't know. Experimenting, which is part of what this is all about, right? And this goes live at the end of the show tonight, so we can see it. 95 people in here. That's awesome. Thank you for being in here. Thumbs up, please, if you learned anything tonight. That would be awesome. So Scott Wilson's got a good question here. Do you think it's worth waiting for our Echo to arrive in May, June, or should we just buy a Leisure Wonder, which is somewhat similar? What would you do? Holy cow, Scott. Those are two very different rigs. I would answer the questions, why do you want an RV first, which then tells you how you will RV, which then brings you to what RV you should buy. An Echo is nothing like a Leisure Wonder. A Leisure Wonder is a gorgeous Scandinavian apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment on wheels. They are just the most delicious vans. I would love to have one. They're just too big for me. And they're big. And the Echo's big too, but the Echo really is meant for outdoorsy, going off into the woods. It does have a lithium system, which is great. I don't think Leisure does at this point, but it is night and day different. So I would have a real conversation with yourself on why do you want an RV, which will then determine what kind of RV you want to have. If you want to be out in the woods, sitting there in a leisure travel van, you'd probably be the only one that looks like that. Everybody else is going to have a ruggedized RV, which is fine, whatever you want to do, right? Whereas if you roll into some lovely RV park and you're staying for a couple weeks in Palm Springs, your Echo is going to be like, I think I should be out in the mountains. And look at this lovely leisure travel van. So that's my thoughts off the cuff. Very different rigs, very different ways to RV. I think you need to identify why you want to RV, which then leads to how, which kind of is the features, and then what kind of RV delivers that RVing experience that you want. I want a van so I can be nimble, most freedom, park anywhere. Either of those rigs, you're not getting to park anywhere for sure. So what are other people's comments on that? That's an interesting question. But if the leisure has everything you need and it's really the way truly you want to RV and it's available, it's a great price, I'd snap it up now because they're just lovely. Echoes are being delivered soon, I'm sure. Great question. Ooh. See, traveling skinny. Let's see. I just saw you. Uh-oh, here comes Luke. Oh, yes, this is great. Ginger Walkabout. I'm proud of you, Ginger, for being honest about this, but 4 skillets. And she still has 2. And you can stand by your decision. Hey, again, you RV the best way you want to RV. 4 might have been an overkill. 2 seems right. I've got a skillet and a pot. They use it on my Instapot for literally a pot. So Don has a question here on lithium. Good question. Has a comparison been done between Volta system and system in the new Echo? Well, the Fit RV did. And I've been in conversation with Volta on how we can make some comments about that. What I'm learning is lithium is really religion. Everybody wants to get to heaven, right? But a Catholic has a different way versus a Protestant versus a Muslim, right? And lithium is religion. And if I say something here, maybe that's how we get some channel growth. I don't know. Is I just want to be super accurate and I want to be super on point about what it offers, and then let you decide. There's some things that the Echo does well. There's things that Volta does much better. So in my opinion, and that's all it is, although there's facts to back that up. And that's what we're trying to figure out is how to present those facts without antagonizing. Oh, he has to go potty. That's what we're talking about. I'm sorry. My fault. There you go. Okay, go potty. That's what he does. He vocalizes when he has to go potty. That was my fault. So stay tuned. I'm working actively with Jack and the Volta team to address that. He wants to address it. Check out the Traveling Robert video. He got some pretty pointed questions from the Traveling Robert, and he answered them in a hammer and a velvet glove manner. But there's a lot I want to do there. But it's religion, or like comparing wives. It's just comparing spouses. There's not a winner. Just list the facts. You decide what's the best thing for you. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. And Linda, if you're out there, she's been asking me the same kind of question. So, all right, this is an interesting question. We'll go here for just a couple more minutes. And toast. Who doesn't like toast? This is funny. MP says, can you make decent toast in a convection microwave? For me, life without good toast isn't really possible. I don't have a convection microwave, so I can't answer that for you. I would make toast over the propane burner. We've done that. You gotta be careful. You gotta take off your smoke alarm because it will go off immediately. I made toast on my grill. I actually have a video coming up, a dine-in Travato meal that's super healthy, avocado toast without making toast. So stay tuned for that. Rhonda here has a good question. This may be question of the week for next week. Did a lot of you YouTube studying to sell home and start RV lifestyle, but got discouraged at used price and availability, move plan back in it? So that's what you went through. So you did a lot of YouTube studying, sell the home, start RV lifestyle, but got discouraged at used prices and limited availability, move plan back. Oh, I see. Here's my thoughts on that. If you know why you want to RV, and I would be super crystal clear on that, you should be able to ask yourself at least 3, probably 5 questions why you want to RV, And that will determine what kind of RV you need. And if you find the RV that meets the why and you find a good deal, I would grab it. You don't have to be a full-timer, in my opinion. You can just take great trips, just run from the cold, all kinds of things. So I wouldn't be discouraged. I would be encouraged, because there's a lot of rigs coming out, a lot of innovation, kind of in floor plans coming out, a lot of innovation around the energy systems. But I would keep pressing on. But I would really answer the question, why do you want an RV, which will probably answer what kind of RV that you will have. All right, we're winding down here. Just a couple more. So Don's got a good question here. We're going to try and get Jack and the team on one of these to talk about this. So thoughts on the Volta system that you can use in a trailer, please. Yeah, there's solid state generator. It's the same system, even more juicy than I have in my Travato. It's in a single box. I can't remember the exact measurements, but it was like 3 feet by 1.5 feet by 7 feet maybe. The whole thing slips into a trailer. That's what the intention was. And imagine Volta to go, 11 kilowatts or whatever it was at a moment's notice by literally plugging in your 30 amp cord into that box. So you don't have to be running around looking for solar or so that's yeah, so watch more for that. Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. I'm looking for a couple more questions, and then I don't see one here. So yes, Luke. Oh, here's so Warren asked a good question here. This will be our last question of the evening, and thank you everybody if you got something out of this. Sure appreciate a thumb up. So Warren wants to know, Scott Wood, could you envision Winnebago, WGO? I use that acronym a lot. That's their stock symbol. Listening to the disappointing changes to the new 59G, L's the Volta system added on, making changes. An option, dinette, or a third model. I don't think of making options, because what they probably don't want to do, and what dealers don't want, is a bunch of options. They prefer to have stuff just ship and be ready to go. Dinette tables, it just complicates things. I mean, the windows were an option, the ladder is an option. I mean, some of the obvious stuff makes sense, but I don't think seat belts and really fundamental stuff would be options. That's just my guess. I don't know. I need to reach out back to them, to the Winnebago Class B team, and see what kind of feedback they've gotten. But maybe it's an opportunity. Maybe they can have a hybrid Solus G and then a Travato J for just right. I don't know. So, all right. Well, I think I saw 104 people on the live stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining tonight. I enjoy these. I hope you do too. I get great questions. Come prepared with questions. I like the hour time frame. I can't possibly be as interesting as Kevin, that goes on for quite a while longer. So with that, we'll just say thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the replay. We'll see you on YouTube, and check out my website for the next events. We'll be planning those very soon. Until we see you soon, I say journey on. Adios.